All right, fastest 15 minutes on social media, fastest 15 minutes on the internet. My name is Judson Powell. Um, so I tried to stay out of it. I tried to stay out of the whole Illuminati thing yesterday because it was the anniversary of Kobe Bryant um, being killed in that helicopter accident. Um, I got this, I don't know, I started getting emails and I started getting got a couple of little comments here and there. Do you believe he was sacrificed? And so it started getting my brain churning and everything. And so I try not to. Sometimes I try not to talk about these things because there's not a lot of people um, that are well read about this stuff, and most people, and I understand that most people are just, oh my God, and then the other thing is they look at it, but they don't see the martyrdom. I hope that's a word. The martyrdom of what's going on, and so. And I told y'all back when Kobe Bryant, I got kicked out of groups on Facebook and all kinds of stuff for this what they call a conspiracy theory. But all of the precursors led up to um, the fact that he was a sacrifice. And I know everybody doesn't want to be um, negative or whatever, but it's not actually being negative. It's just like putting the truth out there. It's saying, look, y'all got to understand that this world and the money and power in this world is controlled by spiritual forces. People don't just wake up one morning and they're this, that, and the other thing. And the other thing is there's a lot of selling out by people that are celebrities and athletes and stuff like that. And in my opinion, my humble opinion, I believe that Kobe was one of those people. Um, and especially with the things that he used to say, they caught him talking about, he wanted to die young and all of this kind of stuff that he wanted, so that he could be an icon and a legend, and things like that. So those are things that you can't deny. They're factual. The other thing is his obsession with helicopters and all of this kind of stuff, and that he basically he made that the way that he wanted to die or whatever, and that's eventually what happened. And his daughter Gigi, also, and the other people that were in the helicopter, um, so to speak, they were collateral damage. They were just, they just happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And this is a thing. Um, Even the helicopter and all that, it's like no problems. Everything was working fine, and then all of a sudden, bam, it goes down. And the other thing is, it wasn't a bad day. Why did they have to take off right then? Even if there was some kind of wind shearing or anything like that, it could have been. Um, Waited out. They could have waited it out. They weren't. It's like you're a multi-millionaire. It's like you're not in a hurry. You get there when you get there, especially when you're somebody with a name for themselves like Kobe Bryant. So think about all the things and then the final thing was the Black Mamba. The Black Mamba um, was the company um, that he was trying to establish for these medical treatments. The medical treatments that um, will replace other medical treatments that are out now. And I remember talking to somebody who said, yeah, back in the day, if you hurt your knee or you hurt your ankle or something like that, or your Achilles tendon, you were basically done. You could never play anymore. And the only thing you could do is just um, wait for whatever to heal. And if it healed right, you could play. If it healed incorrectly, you couldn't play anymore. So all these elaborate surgeries and treatments have come along. So according to some sources, Kobe was trying to take these treatments and patent them and um, make them so that he could sell them and basically make a lot of money. And we all know that is true because if it comes down to your career, teams would pay for it, individual players would pay for it, and it would be large sums of money. So just take these things into consideration. Also, the whole thing about him being exalted and all of these different things, and everybody looks at, oh, he was such a nice guy and da 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 da. But then again, you know, nobody ever, when somebody passes away, nobody ever talks about the negative side of them or what the negative side was. They always just show the good and the positive sides, and I get that too. Don't get me wrong, I really do get that. But in this particular situation, there were just so many different things that were brought up, especially among the some of the active people that were out there in the medical community, because Kobe, the last time he got hurt, he was taking these treatments, and he was taking the treatments so that he would be like the poster child for the treatments, and that's basically where it stood. But the powers that be really didn't like that, because what? Because they kept on trying to get him to sell the name Black Mamba, and so because he wouldn't sell that name, and he was basically put out there as, hey, he's not long for this world. The other thing is that he had many pictures, and I might have like 10 of them, 10 pictures of him where he's flashing what? He's flashing Illuminati signs. He's flashing all of the signage and all of the, it's just like being a gang member. Crips had they hand signals, Bloods had their hand signals, and et cetera, et cetera. So he was flashing all these different Illuminati signs all the way up until his death. And I'm talking about, this was for years. This wasn't just something that just happened haphazardly, and then I believe, and then of course, what happened after he died was what? Was COVID-19. COVID-19 started to happen after his death. So I believe that part of the sacrifice was was for COVID-19. The other thing is that when you stop and you look at all the people that had COVID-19, people that were rich and famous, basically, and weren't old, they recovered. People that were rich and famous and that were old, they died. Just like recently, Henry Aaron died, and of complications from COVID. So if you know that's one of the things, and I believe that they put that out there, and you got to look at the facts. I mean, what do you call it? The people in Italy. I'm trying to think of that, but Italy sacrificed their old. They said, we don't care if you come in here and you're over 80, then we're just going to sacrifice you and let you die. So don't act like, so people can't act like sacrifice doesn't exist. But who is that sacrifice to? And I remember talking to one lady who's a friend of mine, and she talked to me about Hurricane Katrina, and then she was talking about how a lot of the deaths that occurred in Hurricane Katrina, they allow people to die, and they sacrifice people to gods, to certain other gods that would, that existed. And we all know, we talk about, voodoo and all these kind of things, but the bottom line is that these spiritual things exist. And if you don't believe they exist, then you need to start reading up and finding out about what's going on. But this lady told me, she was like, unequivocally, she was like, yeah, she was like, a lot of those people that died, they were just sacrifices. And she said, and she also went on to talk to me about telling me that the federal government actually knew about these sacrifices, and that they actually sanctioned them and really didn't care about them, because They figured, okay, maybe we won't get another hurricane, or we won't get anything else that's bad, um, because of our sacrifice to the gods. And so everybody, and then that's the other thing. I was just reading some stuff this morning, and people don't realize, like go and I don't think that Caucasians understand the deity system that was in Kemet. I don't think that they really understand that system, and they call everybody gods or whatever, which is a bad thing to do too, because these are not really gods. These are, and I've done videos on this. They're not gods. They're netters, or nature, or the nature of the human being. What is your nature? What is your real and true nature, being a human being? And so that's also important to understand, because you are capable. You're capable of anything that's in your nature. You're capable of it. And even when we start talking about the devil and all this kind of stuff, no such thing. All of that stuff is the nature of man. There are evil people. There are people that are evil. We know that because there are what? There are mass murderers and serial killers and all of these kind of things. And these people are just human beings. But it is in your nature. So even when I talk about Mayat, and we talk about things that have to deal with Mayat, and what we don't realize is that when we have things that deal with Mayat, a lot of these things are things that are just in our nature. So those 42 negative confessions, what are they? The 42 negative confessions are nothing but what you are capable of doing within your nature. So you could do any of those things. So, and just to break it on down, so even the like the Ten Commandments, stuff like that, which I wrote a book on, way back in 2012. I wrote a book about called The Power of 10, and knowing that these things are just your nature. And back then I wasn't even well studied on Kemet or any of that type of stuff, but I realized that there's six, like in the biblical scriptures, there's 613 laws and commandments. All right, and so the rabbinical constituency, what they did was they put these different things together because they started finding out, look, there's all these different things that are in your nature that you could do, but we don't want you to do them because we want to have power and control over you. And that's where we stand now. So, thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal. Well, you have the propensity to be able to kill, and you have the propensity to be able to steal. You could do all of that, and spiritually, one of my favorite memes is, why are you afraid of the spiritual world? Because eventually you're going to end up there anyway. In fact, you're already there if you know that you're just a spirit that's, contained in a body. That's how, and even now, after this, devastating injury that I suffered, it's like, I see every day, the fact that my body is separate from my spirit, and that my spirit wasn't ready to leave my body, but my body doesn't react the way I want it to. But the bottom line is that I have control spiritually. But most people, so even when it comes down to the netters and all that kind of stuff, so if you read these netters and you look at all these deities, and I will call them deities, but if you look at all the aspects, all your aspects, you realize that a lot of things are possible. So with Kobe, coming back full circle. So with Kobe, we understand that some of the things that he said, and he knows, it's like you understand certain things, like saying is sowing. What you say out of your mouth, what you speak out of your mouth, what you contain in your heart is how you end up. That's how you end up. And so those things are very necessary to understand. And most people, the church doesn't teach you that. The church, things like that are not taught in church. So, anyway, I'm running out of time. Fast 15 minutes is up. We'll talk some more about this. God bless you.